A special surprise for Mary is a tribute in her honor written by everyone's favorite newspaper columnist, wordsmith, book author, Mr. Lynn Hummel. Lynn?
Thank you, Terry, for that kind introduction. Is this sound carrying well throughout this place? Okay.
No, it's not. We need a sound system for this library.
You just need somebody who knows how to run it. She's in the process of retiring.
Well, the sound has to go around the corner too, that's why I'm asking. Mary and friends, a tale of two careers. The saga of Mary Haney's work life is a tale of two careers, a law career and a library career. The law is a world of statutes, pleadings, rulings, orders, judgments, and precedents. A career in the law can be ended with 4 words: I rest my case. After 20 years, that's how Mary Haney's law career was ended. Enough about her law career. The world of libraries is a different world entirely. It's not a world of card catalogs and overdue books. It's a world of voices and wisdom. They're all around us. The librarian is surrounded by the voices of the ages, the voices of poets, philosophers, historians, novelists, artists, playwrights, composers, and thinkers of all stripes. The librarian is a steward of the world's treasure of ideas and voices of wisdom. Like the voice of wisdom of Andrew Carnegie, who gave this library to the city of Detroit Lakes and libraries to 1,688 other communities across the country. Carnegie Libraries. He said, "There is not such a crucible or cradle of democracy upon the earth as the free public library, where neither rank, office, nor wealth receives the highest consideration." The voice of Samuel Johnson advises the library in her profession. Knowledge is of 2 kinds. We know a subject ourselves, or we know where we can find information upon it. The voice of James Thurber is also instructive. It is better to know some of the questions than all of the answers. The voice of Henry David Thoreau may apply to lawyers and librarians alike. Beware of all enterprises that require new clothes. The voice of Ernest Hemingway comments on morals and gut feelings. I only know what is moral is what you feel good about after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. The voice of W.C. Fields shares wisdom about children and dogs. Anyone who hates children and dogs can't be all bad. These voices are all around us. The voice of Edna St. Vincent Millay reflects on nature. I will be the gladdest thing under the sun. I will touch 100 flowers and not pick one. The voice of Oliver Wendell Holmes muses about knowledge. Knowledge and timber should never be used until they're seasoned. The voice of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow describes the pathway to man's inner feelings. Music is the universal language of mankind. Poetry, their universal pastime and delight. The voice of Greek philosopher Heraclitus. Man's character is his fate. The voice of Herman Melville expresses one of life's most simple and effective devices. A smile is the chosen vehicle for all ambiguities. Smile, Mary, you've got a real ambiguity on the mind. The voice of Victor Hugo. To love or to have loved is enough. Don't ask for anything more. The voice of Emily Dickinson describing hope. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches on the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. The voice of Louis Armstrong on jazz. If you have to ask what jazz is, you'll never know. The voice of Albert Camus on The Last Judgment. I shall tell you a great secret, my friend. Do not wait for the Last Judgment. It takes place every day. The voice of Hans Gilsdorf on books and children. Show me a child reading a book, and I'll show you a happy child. The voice of William Shakespeare on injuries to librarians. Such an injury would vex a saint. The voice of Bev Hummel advising this speaker, you'd better make it short. If it gets too long, Mary will have to leave to take another pain pill. I didn't make that up.
Listen to your wife.
The voice of Matthew speaking to Mary from his gospel. Well done, you good and faithful servant. You have been faithful. And today the words of Jonathan Swift speaking for all of us, Mary's colleagues and friends. May you live all the days of your life. And finally, the words of Martin Luther King Jr. as Mary walks out the door. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.